Wuddup 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 Wuddup. Welcome back everyone to the Sarkanaverse. It is episode 3. My name is Sarkana and thank you all so much for clicking on this video, and I'm following to my death. And today we are going to be finishing what we started in episode 1. We are going to be completing this fully functioning firework factory. We already have the creeper killers in place. Now we just need the sugar shovers. In fact, this was actually supposed to be episode 2. However, prior to episode 2, I was desperately out of iron. That is no longer the case. And that is because in the last episode, we built this beast of an iron farm. Hey, and since the end of the last episode, I have made a couple of minor tweaks to this thing. First and foremost is that on both the top and the bottom module, I have added an item sorter. That is to separate the iron from the poppies, and of course, an overflow protection. The next tweak that I made is that I actually laid out a couple of rules for anyone who wants to come by and use this thing. Those two rules being, do not place down a job block and do not place down a bed. This is because iron farms are technically villages, and placing down either of those things could mess around with where the iron golems are spawning, and we don't need any of that. And you best believe I have been AFKing at this thing the last few days, and it has definitely paid off. That is an entire sugar box full of blocked iron. For just a little bit of math to give you a little bit of perspective, 64 times 27 is 1,728 blocks of iron. Each block of iron is 9 iron ingots, giving us a total of 15,552 iron ingots. Plus, you know, another half a shulker box of blocks of iron. So yeah, I'm good on iron for a while! And now that we have an absolute nether load of iron to work with, that means that we can now craft the hoppers upon hoppers upon hoppers upon hoppers upon hoppers that we're gonna be needing in order to get this storage system going for our factory. But first, there's a couple of things I do want to catch you up on. On the server side of things, we now have a total of 5 active members. Down in the southeast, we now have T86 Supra. We have set him up with a station in the Nether Hub, making it all official. And one thing that I completely neglected to mention in the first 2 episodes is that you may or may not have noticed that my game probably looks a little bit different than yours. And that is because I used the resource packs that are currently listed on the screen. In the first 2 episodes, I was only using the zigzag texture pack, and as much as I love this one, it is actually not updated to 1.16, meaning that all blocks, equipment, and mobs that were introduced or updated with 1.16 come across looking vanilla. And in between episodes, I remembered that you can actually load in more than one resource pack, which is why I have opted to start using the vanilla BD craft loaded in underneath zigzag. Therefore, zigzag will remain primary. However, any blocks that are not currently updated with that resource pack will be covered by vanilla BD craft. And underneath that, I also have the Skyrim mashup pack. That way I can get the dark themed UI that you see before you, which is a lot easier on my eyes. Which is ultimately why I started using resource packs to begin with. As much as I love Minecraft, as much as I believe that Mojang did a fantastic job of designing this game, it's a little bit of a strain on my eyes. Always has been, which is why I am so late into the Minecraft game. And with all the updates to the game, the vanilla textures do not cause nearly the issue with my eyes as they used to back in the day. However, it's still just a little bit of a strain, especially when playing for hours on end. And back over at the base, there's really nothing to report this episode other than the fact that Torgwen and I have begun moving the villagers into their farms. We did this live over at twitch.tv/Sarkana. You should come check us out. Come give us a follow. I should probably go ahead and repair my elytra, and it's done. And with that, it is time that we go ahead and get right into the meat of this episode. Over the last couple of days, I have probably spent a little bit too much time in the creative world trying to design exactly how I want this thing to turn out. And I have determined that I am going to be transforming the central platform into a building that is similarly structured to the actual creeper killers. This is going to take a little bit more concrete, and I am currently out of black dye. So let's pick these up, put them down in the pounder, put down the boat more towards Twiztidhandz base because for whatever reason they like to spawn more frequently over here. I probably need to get a squid farm going here sooner than later because I'm getting real tired of having to do this. And now we make even more concrete. To the pounder room, let's go! When the music goes around, everybody goes to town. When the music goes around, everybody... Pick these back up and put them right back down at the factory. And before we do anything involving concrete building up the structure, we actually need to get the innards of this factory going first. And one of the biggest aspects of that is that we need to go ahead and get an item sorter going for our sugarcane and our gunpowder. And this is what I'm going with, because at the end of the day, we're only worried about 2 different items here. So as opposed to creating an item sorter for each individual chest, I am actually just going to separate them, giving them their own hopper line, with an overflow protection, of course. I will also be creating a hopper line going right into these chests so that we will have quick and easy access for the finished product from that portal behind me. And in episode 1, I asked you where you thought the sugarcane farms, aka sugar shovers, should go, and the top comment suggested to make it rain. Therefore, the sugar shovers are going to be going into the center above the creeper killers, and it's going to rain down the sugarcane onto a floor of hoppers. And between all the lines and the floor, that means I'm going to need chest, hoppers, hoppers galore. And now we should have all the supplies that we need to go ahead and get going with the rest of this firework factory. And so with that, start the time lapse. Alrighty, everyone, I had to cut that time lapse just a little bit short because after my third time of running out of all of my supplies and just as many game crashes on my camera account over on my Xbox, I became just rather determined just to get this thing done. But on the bright side of things, I have a question for you. Have you ever seen 900 pistons jammed together in close proximity? Well, let me tell you, it looks a little something like that. Yes, you heard that correctly. 900 pistons within this sugar shover containment. As you can see here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lanes per layer. Each lane is 20 blocks long, making each layer 100 pistons. You times that by 9 layers, you get 900. Now, my OCD is triggered just a little bit because I couldn't get the clean 1000. However, I was determined to have the sugar shover start right at the top of the creeper killers, and I did reach max build height. But I am not going to let that get to me because this is by far one of the biggest builds I have ever done in my Minecraft career. That includes both the creeper killers and the sugar shovers, of course. But this fully functioning firework factory is now, in fact, fully functioning. When it comes to the sugarcane catcher, I probably didn't have to use 400 hoppers because that is a 20 by 20 space. I could have done something a little bit less resource heavy, such as a water pool, but I just had the flex. I mean, this didn't even make a dent in my iron reserves. Neither did the pistons, for that matter. I ran out of stone long before I made any sort of impact on my iron reserves. Down here on the entry level of the F.F.F.F, I have in fact established the hopper line going all the way down from the workroom with some chests in between for additional reserves of fireworks. And as you can see, I have relabeled all of our chests. That way, if any of us run out of fireworks, we just come here, we grab what we need, and it will automatically be replenished. Up here in the workroom, I have installed some lights to our storage units to let me know when something is currently being deposited, and these lights also have a double feature to them in that when the top layer of hoppers becomes full, the light will stay on, allowing me to see where we stand with our storage supplies at a quick glance. And over here is probably self-explanatory. I have some chests that are laying on top of some hoppers that go right down into the hopper line I showed earlier. And I have decided to use trap chests. That way nothing will start being deposited until I actually close the chest. And while this fully functioning firework factory is in fact fully functioning, I still need to pretty it up just a little bit. However, that is a job for tomorrow because it is currently 5:30 in the morning for me, so I guess I should really say later today, but I want to go to bed in real life. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and skip the 1 hour test because we already did that with gunpowder, and I'm gonna skip straight to the overnight AFK session. Let's go ahead and clear out the gunpowder and the sugarcane. And so for now, I'm going to say goodnight, and I will see you all whenever I wake up. Alrighty everyone, good afternoon. It has now been 12 hours since I left this thing AFK. I was not sleeping for 12 hours, however, I did of course have to eat breakfast, get my coffee, and I left the thing running the entire time. So now, let's see what we got. And we are off to a good start with the gunpowder. Looks like we have 2 lanes full, with the third one currently being worked on. Where are we at right now? Oop, it looks like we actually just begun the 3rd lane. Not bad. And over on the sugarcane, it looks like we are actually on the 2nd lane. More specifically, it looks like we are about halfway through the second lane. It does lag a little bit behind the gunpowder, but that's to be expected. Even with 900 individual plants, sugarcane does take a while to grow, so I knew that it wasn't gonna keep up with the gunpowder. However, that's really not that far behind. It looks like by the time it reaches its third lane with the gunpowder, it's about halfway through the second lane with the sugarcane. We are going to be making a lot of fireworks here. And speaking of which, alrighty, as you can see, we haven't even gone through all of our supplies yet, and still all of these trap chests are full, currently depositing into our hopper line down below. We are not going to be running out of fireworks anytime soon. To which really, that is the end game to this place. As elaborate as it is, as much time as I have put into it, the whole goal of this place is to spend enough time here that we don't really need to come back here after a certain point. But even with that, I still want to make this place look beautiful. I still want it to look cool. I want it to be a pleasure to the eyes. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and finish this place up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, allow me to take the pleasure in announcing to you that the Fully Functioning Firework Factory is done. And I am so pleased with myself on how this thing turned out. And that is because this place is 100% mine. I followed no tutorials on this place. I simply took my knowledge from the previous world of my creeper farm and my sugarcane farms, and I slapped it together. And if I do say so myself, it came out rather unique. Ooh, with that being said, however, I do feel like this sugar shiver containment is missing something. I cannot put my finger on it, and if you can think of anything aesthetically speaking for this thing, let me know in the comments down below. I might just have to get Torgwen's help with this thing. I mean, I could install more sugar shovers below. However, A, that would be an absolute pain in the butt to install underneath the existing ones. And B, I really don't need to. And allow me to show you why. Because if we enter my newly renovated storage room, as you can see, the 3 trap chests that lead into the lower chests for all of us to grab fireworks if we need are completely full. All 3 of these are full, meaning that all of the hoppers and those chests are full, to the point where I had to put the extras in here. And we are still gathering materials to make more if we need. We are not running out anytime soon. And jumping back to the aesthetic ideas in the comments below, let me know what this room can have. Again, I am not much of a builder, I am more of the technical player. The fact that I was able to design this thing is nothing short of a miracle. And that applies to the lower lobby as well. I am of course going to be seeking Torgwen on all of this for final details. However, any feedback that you have would be greatly appreciated. But as you can see, our nether hub entrance is right here. We can walk right on in, look for our chests that are named and color coordinated, take what we need, and fly on out of here. And pardon the darkness in this room, however, I would like your opinion on one more thing in the comments below. As you can see, we have a lot of room to work with here. This is in between the workstation and the lower lobby. And what other farms can you think of that could benefit from us AFKing in this space? Let me know. Let's go ahead and give this place a few more flybys. From the side, from the top, and from down below. And with that, it is time to conclude this episode of the Sarkanaverse. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it the licks. That is a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And while you're at it, please do go follow me over at twitch.tv/Sarkana. I am live every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, starting at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And until next time, everyone, deuces.
It don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing.